Hey guys, thanks so much and welcome to the Game Your Future podcast, all about helping gamers realize their full potential. And today I have a very fun, very special guest for you guys. This is Scott Robinson, or Dr. Scott, as he's known, who has had two near-death experiences and sees life as the greatest game of all. And we could definitely use more fun and more gaming in our own lives. So, Dr. Scott, thanks so much and welcome. How are you?
Every day I'm walking and breathing simultaneously. It would be like playing your game so everything functions right. That is a wonderful thing. Hey, having woken up in a morgue and being left for dead changes your perspective on reality. And suddenly all the worries and fears of the current things that are going on in politics and government, it goes out the window.
Yeah.
And suddenly now my objective is to help people enjoy their lives because this is truly the biggest game in the universe.
Wow, I absolutely agree. And just what a crazy story even to start out and just the experience, right? So I know everybody's journey is different, but having the two near death experiences, like I know people are going to be very curious out the gate, like like what happened and what did you learn and like how did that epiphany come about?
All right, number one, I was 17 years old, Jewish kid going to a Catholic school. 3 days after high school graduation, I was given a car by my dad, who was in the car business in Jerome Avenue in the Bronx. So he got me a good used car. And for all those gamers, you start in high school, I'm sure, and I've seen some really successful gamers. And I was 17 years old. This nerdy kid given a car, zooped up Mercury Montego with a 325 under the hood, I think it was. And I was ready for anything. It had, today they don't have bench seats. Do you know what those are? Do you remember from grandpa and grandma? A
I do
bench
not.
seat in a car? Okay. I had bench seats in this car. It was a two-door. It was perfect for a teenager looking out for girls. I mean, this was the perfect hot Friday night, Saturday night gamers uh, wish. Hot car, hot babe, one bench seat. You don't have to kind of reach over for anything. I went out to go visit my friend to pick him up and to go fishing. That was the other game. We didn't play games like that yet, but I went out to play an actual fishing game. You know, you see the games today you got, but this was the real thing. I've never been. Get in the car, 5 o'clock in the morning, say goodbye to mom and dad, pick him up. My friend Lou, we get on the highway. It says Route 80, downtown Patterson next exit. And next thing I look down and I'm looking through my hands. And it is like three-dimensional. I'm not there anymore. Wow, if this is death, there's nothing to be fearful of. And according to the police report, I drove 23 miles before we got hit by somebody or something, spun the car. I came out of my seatbelt, went over the top of my friend Lou in the passenger seat, hit my head against the window and the door frame. And the old cars had heavy steel. And the
Hmm.
door frame, where you grab it, hit this side of my head and left a dent. And the only thing I remember is the door opened up and I fell onto the shoe of a police officer and I heard, he's DOA. So I'm sure the gamers understand DOA, dead on arrival. Next thing I know, they put my body in the refrigeration unit in the local morgue, called my parents and said, come identify your son's body. He's been in a bad accident. Mom and dad show up. Mom's born on Halloween. She was always psychic. She always knew. She said, I know it's going to work out. They came into the empty morgue, walked down the hallway, saw a man wearing scrubs, just like me, wearing scrubs, pushing a body that was covered up into the refrigeration unit. As they got closer, the man vanished. They went, what happened to him? Where'd he go? Anyway, they didn't have time to do that. They just, to find out where he went, they saw this body covered up. They pulled off the sheet, and I sat up, said, hey, mom, hey, dad, I met grandpa, I met God. All right. A few minutes
Wow.
before this, I'm in heaven. What happened when I died, when the guy said DOA, I went out of my body, went up towards the sky, looked down on the earth, and a grand, large angel, my guardian angel, said to me, do you know what those lights are coming off the earth up into this cloud? Well, people talk about the Holy Spirit, healing wave, Heilstrom. That's different words for the same thing, this healing energy of God. Well, I saw lines some thin and small, and some really big and bright. And he said to me, "Do you know what those are?" I said, "No." He said, "The thin ones are individual prayers. The thick ones are group prayers, people praying for the same thing." I said, "Oh, that's nice." He said, "Got to go now." And the next thing I know, I was shooting down a tunnel, like if you were in a game screen and
Hmm.
you saw that it was on high speed, some of those racing car driver games, and that everything's kind of blurry going by you. And then all
Yep.
of a sudden, I'm at the gates of heaven. And my grandfather meets me. I know it was my grandfather. He wasn't alive. He had died 2 years before my birth, but I'd seen pictures of him. And he said, "You don't belong here. You haven't fulfilled your purpose and missions in life. But before we send you back, I've got someone for you to meet." And he took me into a small room. I'll call it a waiting room there in heaven. And there were three beings, two big archangels, and one guy in front of me. And his back was towards me, and I saw wavy dark hair, and he was about my size, where these angels were really big. And he turned around and said, "You the being everybody calls Jesus?" Now remember, I'm 17 years old, so it was like this attitude. And he said, "I'm called by many names, but because of your heritage, being Jewish, going to Catholic school," he said, "I will call you the little Prince of Peace, and you can call me Big Brother. And we can't keep you here. You got to go back and fulfill your purpose and missions in life." When the angel behind him was Michael, Michael the archangel, and to his right, my left, was this other big angel. And that angel chimed in and said, "You will learn a simple technique to heal yourself and then share that with other people. Oh, and by the way, when you actually get to see who I am in the future, they will call my body by one name, but that's not who I am." I went, "Okay." And then Jesus said, "Got to go back now." And I went, "Ah, shoot." And that's when I ended up in my body, and my mom and dad had pulled back the sheet that was over the top of me. All right.
Wow.
Fast forward. It's now 18 years later. I'm about to have my second near-death experience. I went on and I became a chiropractor, a medical examiner for the state of California, a medical examiner in the country of Israel. I had traveled all over the world, and I was coming back and starting a practice. And I was a pilot now. So talk about a game. The
Yeah.
first games I got to play with were control games where you learned how to fly an airplane, but on a TV screen. Remember the old games where
Oh yeah.
I had the stick
Yeah.
and rudder? Right.
Yep.
But I
I had the
actually
flight stick and
learned,
everything too. Yeah.
we learned on flight simulators, and the flight simulators were the real thing. And the only thing is, then I took up my airplane and I learned how to do spins and loop-de-loops and all sorts of different things with my airplane. But I also used it in my professional setting. I was using my flights to then be hired by an insurance company or a judge to go from Long Beach to Sacramento to San Francisco to Santa Barbara to San Diego to Las Vegas, because I got paid to fly my plane to go track down a patient, do an exam, and then go to court the next day. So,
Wow.
and as you know, even with the game consoles, with these new consoles, they're like true flight simulators. You got to practice. For every
Yeah.
1 hour I was in an airplane, I had to practice 2 hours. Today, you can practice on a simulator. We didn't have access to too many of them unless you were a professional pilot. So I practiced on the real thing. You make a mistake, adios, muchachos, and
Yep.
it won't be more than just a near-death experience. But I was practicing on a cold, wet December day, probably either a Thursday or a Saturday, because that's usually when I flew. And I was practicing for a flight I would take the next week at high altitudes at Lake Arrowhead, California. And it was slippery, it was wet, and I wanted to practice that because if I didn't get prepared for the big game, which
Yep.
was a flight 750 miles up to Sacramento, I would have nobody in the right seat to tell me otherwise. So for every hour that I needed to fly, I was flying 2 hours in practice, just the real simulator. And something happened. Just like when I was driving in the car and I suddenly saw through my body, same thing happened when I was in the plane and on the yoke, because they don't call it a steering wheel, it's a yoke. And I
Yep.
slumped over it. I almost passed out. My flight instructor pushed us down to below 8,000 feet. I regained consciousness. She said, "Enough's enough. You're going home." We flew back to Long Beach. I parked it. I was a medical examiner and I was due for a medical exam myself. I figured, hey, something's wrong with me. I got to go see my own medical examiner for
Yep.
me because pilots have to be examined once a year so you can actually fly without killing yourself. Well, they did an exam on me that day and I was severely anemic. I was
Mm,
bleeding internally, but they didn't know where. They sent me down to USC Medical Center where two of the doctors I knew did an exam on me and found I was not only bleeding, but they found something else on a screen. And the pictures showed some kind of shadow on my kidney.
mm,
They did an upper GI and a lower GI at that point and accidentally overdosed me on fentanyl, which is the same thing or similar to what killed Michael Jackson. I think it was the same year Michael Jackson died. And I came out of my body. This time I floated above my body and saw an angel next to me. This is called a veridical near-death experience where I could see everything going on in the operating room.
mm.
I said, "Can I go home now?" I said, "My body's a mess." And the angel said, "Nope, you still haven't fulfilled your purpose and missions in life." And I said, "Would you kindly remind me what's my mission and purpose in life?" And they said, "You will learn a simple technique to heal yourself and share that with other people. This technique is called Einstellen, Einstellen. I'll repeat it again. Einstellen, Einstellen. Means tuning into the source, asking for help and healing. In German, it means pay attention, listen up. But the third one is a spiritual meaning, is listen up to God, listen to the creator, whatever you call the creator, and pay attention to it. Ein is one, Stellen is stars. Listen up.
Mm.
So I would learn that technique. I got back in. Um, I would then go to spiritual seminars. The doctors that I was working with at USC Medical Center had written me off and left me for dead. Said, if you don't take our medicine, that you'll be dead in 9 months. Go home and write your obituary and get your life in order in case you die.
Wow.
And I
So
told them,
they basically told you had 9 months to live at that point.
yeah. And I told them, go screw it. I will not accept their diagnosis nor their prognosis. Their game is their game. My game is my game.
So of
And I
course
don't trust it.
yep. So the follow-up question, of course, then Scott is how long ago was that?
That was 1984, 85, somewhere in that area. I have it in my book. It's funny. After you've written this down, you kind of forget about it. It was about 84, 85. And basically, they said, you can continue to work, but you'd have body parts removed. And I said, no, I'm not going to accept your diagnosis nor your prognosis. I'm going to Mexico. And I worked with the Gerson Institute and Hulda Clark, Cure for All Diseases. I came back 3 months later. They retested me at USC. They said, we can't find anything wrong. I said, you remember you're talking to a former medical examiner? I went to court for a living. The doctor
Yeah.
shut up. My file got lost. The other doctor died. The third doctor insisted. He was a big, tall guy, basketball player, tallest doctor I had ever seen. And he said, you can't heal without our medicine. I said, if I had taken your medicine, you would have killed me. And I wanted to punch him, but he was too tall. I'm only
It's too
5'8". I
tall.
couldn't reach past his belly button.
So, and just for those that make sure we understand, so like as of recording, right, we're yeah, recording in 2025. So you were given 9 months to live back in 1984, right? So 9 months to live, but you've been so I'm like doing the math. I'm like close to 40 years ago.
Yep.
So
And the biggest thing is, if I had taken their medicine, I would have been not here. I can't tell the story. I wouldn't have been here. So if you want to really find out everything there, just in case, even though I've done this interview many, many times, just in case I made a mistake with my own history, it's in the book. There
it's
are
in the
no
book.
lines in heaven, which you can get
Mhm.
on Amazon, either in the 9.99 version ebook, which instant download on Kindle, or the big book, which is like 411 pages and weighs 3 pounds. So just in case I'm off on any technical
Gotcha.
data, the real stuff's in there.
We'll forgive you for that if there's any minor inconsistency. But yeah, but I mean, the key is 9 months to live, but now 40 years later, still doing fine, still doing great, right?
Knock
So,
on wood, olive
yeah.
eye, I mean, yeah, basically. how many people have had anything in their life told you can't do this or you can't do that or this is no good or how many people have actually beat the odds? I think of Colonel Sanders. You can't start a chicken company when you're 65 years old. By the time he was 66 years old, he opened up what became one of the largest franchises of fried chicken everywhere. Started in the South, and he only had enough money from his Social Security. And
Yeah,
me,
but
hey, they wrote me off and left me for dead. And the only thing I
twice.
wanted to do was get away from those guys. They were not
Yeah.
playing my game. This was not my game. It was their game. And I didn't like their game. So,
Exactly. And I think that's so powerful as far as like understanding that you don't have to just accept, your current situation, your current reality to say, no, if you want to change things, you can. And talking to kind of the gamer audience, that listens, it's really about understanding like, yeah, a lot of people understand that, gaming is kind of this escapism sort of situation. And what I like to promote is that gaming can help you, right? Gaming is a tool. So yes, we use it for entertainment, but my own journey was coming from, playing video games to the point of learning skills like I could take into the workplace, like just, playing online, playing multiplayer, doing
technology.
leadership stuff.
And but the thing is, now you can take it into the real world's reality, which itself is a matrix and an illusion. And how do I know that? Other sides told me. This is the grandest illusion of all illusions. It's the matrix. We are on a schooling planet, not a prison planet. There's evil. So it's a good and evil versus gaming. It's the good guys versus the bad guys. Evil was given this planet, if you want to look at it as a game. Their job was to destroy us. Our job, master this reality, endure, persevere, and overcome it. In doing so, not allow evil the upper hand. Don't let them kill you. Now, here's the other thing for gamers. You like alien gamers? This world is not only occupied by evil aliens from other dimensions, they're talking about aliens from other worlds. This is true. In our reality, there's 52 races of beings that come to visit this reality. Why? Because we can grow in this reality better than any other reality there is. We are in the worst neighborhood with the highest education. Think of it as
Hmm.
college or university level education in the worst neighborhood, in the worst solar system, in the worst universe that you could imagine. Alien beings get to come to this world and observe good versus evil here. They don't have good and evil on their reality. They
Hmm.
live a lot longer. We don't make it that far. How old this person, I think, was about 130. So you want to make it longer, live longer? You want to be like Methuselah? Don't accept any of the garbage anybody gives you, whether it's government or a doctor. Don't play the game from inside their rules. Play a different game. There's those that play the game of life and they're in a parade. Then there's those in the stands rooting for one or the other, like if you were at a fighting match, you get to see it. And then there's other people like me who step back like a true gamer and just observe the reality. And so think of the world just like that. There you can be in the game of the reality or outside watching and go, oh, if you're outside watching things happen, you don't take it personal. If you're inside the game or in the stands, you're going to take it personal, like being at a baseball game. So change your viewpoint and you will change your reality. You can do it in a gaming console, you can
Mhm.
do it on a computer. This is just the biggest computer you can imagine. And you can change that reality. Well, now, one of the things that they taught me from the other side, you don't like the game, get out of the reality. So I've learned to pull myself out of the reality, get out of the oncoming bus or train, and move over to a slightly different reality. And I've done it 3 times. And I realized the only thing that was different is that the Colts were no longer in Baltimore, they were in Indianapolis. And then the second thing was they weren't in first place anymore, they were in second place. And then a movie that I knew from the time of a childhood, suddenly when I saw it as an adult, suddenly the movie had a different meaning to it than I remember as a kid. So I
Hmm.
pulled myself out of this reality into a less severe or damaging reality. Yes, you have only
Wow.
one life, you only have one body. When this body goes, your soul keeps going on and on. So this is an eternal game we're playing. You just got to know the rules to the game. Hence what I talked about, the game of life and how to play it. You got to know the rules in this game. And most human beings don't know how to play this game.
And of
So,
course, that's the follow up, right? Absolutely. Very cool, very interesting. So, if, and I don't know if we have enough time to even share it all now, but I guess, because people are going to want to know, like, what are the rules?
aha,
And
should we use that for a second episode or should
we
I
could do
keep
that for a
talking?
second episode because I think for this particular one, as far as like understanding the game of life and playing the game on your rules. So I would love to talk about like kind of that aspect of it as far as like how you can change the game. How can you change your reality? Like I think that's going to be the most important as kind of the foundation step for the audience to say like, okay, maybe I'm stuck in a situation I don't want to be in. How can I change?
Would you like me to go on?
Absolutely.
All right. First of all, I'm no joke. I'm not just tooting my own horn. I didn't write the book. God wrote the book. You said, what? Yeah. I was woken up every morning between 3 and 5, and the divine energy came through me, and it just kind of rattled out. When I read my own book, I go, I wrote this? And then I heard, no, I wrote this. And it came through me and it came out. 9 months, I had a book. It's now 411 pages long. How do I change my reality? Number one, in this game, we get to play it through a thing called a prayer. You've heard of prayers? On a wing in a prayer? All right. There are different kind of prayers for protection, realignment of your soul body connection, and manifestation of money and prosperity. Ooh, now we're taking the game out of the console, and now you're talking real money, real
Yep.
gelt. How to create not only health, but wealth. And you must do it from your heart brain connection. How do you do it? You change your perspective with what you do. Whether you call it transcendental meditation, nature, I call it Einstein, tuning into the source and asking for helping. Who are you tuning into? The creator. And you get to actually recreate your experience of life every day. Is it the only game in town? No. But I teach that for free every 2 weeks on a Sunday. For those that are new, I teach it at 1:30 Eastern time because I'm in Florida. And I believe you're on the East Coast with me.
Yes. Yep. East Coast here.
Yeah. And at 2 o'clock, people from 23 different countries get on and use Einstein with prayer and change their reality. We do it every 2 weeks. I recommend that everybody does Einstein twice a day, in the morning and in the night, to change their reality. It's just like rewriting your script, only you're going to do it through the divine. 95% of healing from spiritual perspective and emotional perspective. 5% of healing is 5% of healing. That's really all it is. So when you see people having miracles occur, that's only 5% for the physical body.
Hmm.
Emotional and spiritual take up 95%. So we restructure and retrain you to get rid of negative emotions that don't serve you, erase them from your body mind connection. We push out negative energy from your physical form, which is on loan from the creator who created us so that we could create other games. And we change that. So we actually push negative stuff out of your body. Like I said, I didn't accept the doctor's perspective. In this case, we're not going to accept the dark negative energy that may be harboring inside our bodies. How do we do it? With our eyes closed. It's called pushing faint matter. So whether it's Einstein, prayer, pushing faint matter, or removing any emotions that don't serve us, we get to erase these things very quickly. In 1 minute's time, I can remotely and in person erase emotions that don't serve a person. So you don't actually have to come and see me in person in Florida. I can do all my sessions online. And I even have toys to play with that can connect your DNA to me in a computer, and I can tell you what's going on in your body and then give you the frequencies that you need for your body at this time. Everything's a
Wow.
frequency. Your game's a frequency, your body's a frequency. knowing how to play the game is where it matters. So that's number
That's
one.
that's really powerful because that's okay. I know there's a lot of people that are going to be interested to go deep on some of these types. They're like, yeah, you got me interested. I'm like, is this something we could do remote even over Zoom? Like that's
Yes, we can. And most of my clients I see through Zoom. Now I work with animals as well, dogs, cats, horses. Horses are a big one because people have, well, horses are expensive.
yep,
I don't mean 40 or 400 horses under your hood. I'm talking real horse,
actually
right?
riding a horse. Yep.
And some of these people are very wealthy, have big animals. They're $1 million a piece. They're race animals and they're worth a fortune. So they want me to find out what's wrong with their animal so that they can breed their animal where they make a lot of money, or they can race their animal or show their animal or use it for a polo match or whatever. The Olympics. These horses are specially bred for the Olympics. And I got called out to actually investigate why a horse was going crazy. We found out what was there, what the problem was. Animals are easier to connect with than humans if you know how to play the game. And
Yep.
so I do that. Animals come to me and tell me messages about their owners. Birds will drop a feather. I remember an eagle dropping off a message for me right at the balcony, behind of which was my window, that I was talking to an audience. And the message, then they told me what the message was. Then the eagle flew away.
Wow.
Eagles. So you're
Very cool.
talking gamers who know the game. Let's get up and personal. I actually play with birds. My favorite bird is a bird named Logan. He will hop on your leg or arm, oh, preferably it's your arm, which is covered by leather because, man, he has got talons on him. And he has the pressure of 127 pounds per square inch. And you feed him. He's only there for food. Otherwise, he will break your arm. But
Oh
Logan
man.
is a showbird, and you will see him in one of my first videos, him coming over to get the food. But he'll go and grab a mouse or a rat or go get another bird like a pigeon, and he'll bring him over. He was used in a lot of movies, and his name is Logan. He is a gorgeous, gorgeous hawk. The bigger the bird, the stronger the talons. They have locking talons, and they'll crush their prey.
Wow.
So you got to know how to play the game with him. You do
Yep.
one thing wrong. Some of the owls, I remember one of my teachers that was teaching me about birds. Bird got freaked out for something and she's an owl. She stuck her talons in her face and they got stuck. Oh, and one was in her chest. That was not comfortable.
That
So
doesn't
you
sound
have
good.
to learn.
For sure. So I think you mentioned so we had like kind of the first step. So you said there were and proceeding through the steps. So what was kind of the second step that you were going for?
All right. Besides changing your reality through how you think, you never accept anything that's negative.
Hmm.
So let's see. What's negative? The news, politics. Oh, we're having problems here with the weather. Oh, it's a one world government. Oh, you name it. Wars here, wars there, threat of annihilation. Don't listen to any of it. There is the game of evil. Evil runs this world, like I said. So we don't listen to the George Soroses, the Bill Gates, or the Klaus Schwabs in the world. Stay away from that garbage. That's their reality. They have every right. There's no karma. They can do anything to anybody. Your job is to stay clear of them. And remember, if you want to be in this reality, don't follow their instructions.
Hmm.
Other thing, you want to be able to focus on what your reality means to you. You want positive things in your reality? Hey, you gamers out there, you want an actual girlfriend or a boyfriend, depending on what side of the game? Then let's create that girlfriend or boyfriend, but in your mind, your heart mind connection to source. And actually say, come on, let's create this. Father God, Big Brother God, whatever. I would like to create a real person, not only to play with in games, but my own games. I would like to create the wealth I need, not just from playing games, because I know some of the games you play, you can actually make money on. It's a
Yep.
true game, right? But actually go in prepared, like a basketball player who's practicing throwing um,
Shooting the hoops, right?
layups.
Yep.
Yeah, you ever heard that?
Yep.
You can get the same thing by using your mind to throw the layup, right? And
Right.
practice.
There's those fantastic studies of people that, that practice, and not only do they practice, but like they'll do practice where it's only in their mind. Like they won't
Right?
actually shoot it, right? They'll just think about shooting it.
And
And
do it. But they
yeah.
take the action and the energy and they do it. This is not subtle. When I do my internal stuff, my pushing faint matter, I will sweat,
Hmm.
push negative energy. Now, I can only not only push my own negative energy out, I can push your energy out, whether I'm on a computer or in person. Actually, I do better with this because the virtual reality in Zoom is actually easier to work with than in person. So I can push negative energy away from you as well.
Wow.
Even LeBron James, who loves to play games, as in any games on the computer, he'll
Hmm.
tell you he uses visualization to actually create his reality on the game, as in the real game of basketball.
Hmm.
But he plays games. Life is a huge game. Learn how to play it. So you get rid of negative, you don't accept negative, you create the reality you want to, and then you manifest it using a prayer and making sure you don't use any negative verbiage. Worst words in the world. Oh, that's to die for. No, it's to live for. You understand?
Yep.
Difference in your verbiage and your terminology. You want to play the game really? And you want to manifest millions? Then you better be careful of the words you say out of your mouth because they can cut sharper than a knife. You want to hurt somebody? Don't hurt them with a knife, hurt them with words. The word lawyer means to twist. An attorney, their job, not to tell the truth. Having been a medical examiner and a court doc, guess what? I saw a lot of that all the time. That was not a pretty game,
Mm.
right? So, how do you use this mental creativity? You do it through Einstein. You do it being out in nature. You stay away from anything that doesn't serve you. In California, I was there a couple years ago when this well known gamer who made millions of dollars, he bought himself a Lamborghini at age 19 and he got fired from the game company, whatever the game, and he lost his all everything because
Mm.
something he did wrong. He got so upset. He got in his car doing 100 miles an hour plus, got on because now he thought he was in a game, got onto the highway on an off ramp. He went down the off ramp in the wrong direction and hit a mom and a daughter on her way to an eye doctor. They were all killed instantly. Can't come back from that game. Next
Jeez.
life, next body. So the other thing is you got to know how to play the game and what it is. The game is really serious. The game is serious. Don't take yourself serious. It is good versus evil in this reality. We volunteered to play the game. Remember, it's a game. What? Say what? This reality is a game. You can make it, move it, change it, anything you want. You accept the parameters of the game, you're stuck in the parameters. You're stuck in a box. You don't accept the parameters, you expand those things, you'll create your own game.
And that's
Boom.
a good question because for gamers, especially for those like myself that that play video games, that's kind of a I'll say like a strong belief that I think is held that what you're saying like try to change is to say the game there's a lot you can do in a lot of different games. These modern games have so many cool little things you can do, but you're still in a box, right? You can't ever go outside the lines.
Well, here you can go outside the line. So this is the biggest game in town. So if you think you've mastered the game and you made $1 million being a gamer and you've actually learned to profit from it and learn how to deal with reality, it's no different than playing the game on a computer or a keyboard. It is another game.
That's
So
fantastic. So all right. So we had so make sure I get all the points right. So not accepting your reality, um, and
unless you want to accept that reality. So
unless you want to, right? So maybe you're sitting pretty good. I don't know. But we got like the first 2 points. So remind me again. So what's the first point and the second point we have? Uh,
or don't accept anything you don't want to serve you, or don't accept anything you don't want in the reality presented to you. Second thing is You can use your mind to create your reality. So come from positive, never negative. Okay.
Gotcha.
Third thing, you got to have faith because every gamer knows that somebody created that game. So now we're going to go back to the source of our game. Who's the source of that game? The creator. Who's that creator? Some people call it God. Some call it the universe. Some call it a higher intelligence. You have to have faith in that creator. Then you have to have trust that there's somebody who can help you play the game better. A Jesus, a Michael, a somebody, an archangel. And then you got to believe in your own divinity. So when you're a gamer, you got to believe in your own self, right? That you can play this game. You've practiced it long enough. You know your abilities. Now you can go to the highest level. Well, now this game is at a high, super high level. A mistake here will cause your physical body to be destroyed. You don't want that.
Yeah.
Evil's job, their job, they only have one job, to destroy us. Our job, not to get destroyed. All right. You could go anywhere. There was a man that wrote a book about the fact that he wanted to do 100 things and go to the moon and everything in his life. You know, of the 100 things that he wrote about when he was 17 years old, this is long before games as we understand them. He got 99 out of 100. The only one he didn't go is to the moon.
Hmm.
And the thing is,
Mhm.
you can do anything you set your mind to. As you so create, you can create your reality. The game, besides the game of life and how to play it, which is a book by Florence Scovel Shinn, it's the biology of belief by Bruce Lipton. Read that. If you're a gamer, read that book. You could also read my book, There Are No Lines in Heaven, and go to chapter 5 and learn how to use frequencies to manifest your reality. It is said in physics that if you actually see what you look like, this physical body is not here, it's empty. Even the CIA, through the Monroe Institute, says there's more empty space than there is physical space. So if you want to be able to play the game and get rid of pain, one of the issues is pain. A lot of people have pain. I'll teach you how to push the pain out of your body. And then the biggest issue, most people have fear of pain, and that creates pain. So we
Mm.
create a stopgap, stop going there, create a new reality. And this is the thing. So the game of life equates also to the gamer's reality. They know if they can master the game they're playing on their computer, they can then take those skills and master their reality in the physical space, three-dimensional. But here's the catch. Your objective is not to just stay in the three-dimensional because you're going from two-dimensional to three-dimensional. It's to get to the fifth dimension. And remember, there's a song, The Fifth Dimension. There was a band, a woman's band, Fifth Dimension, or was it a man's band in the 60s and
Can't
70s?
remember now. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The thing is, you want to get to the fifth dimension, which means being open to a different reality. What does a fifth dimension look like? It's like having a near-death experience. You see things from a different perspective. You're going to manifest that which you want to create, which means it's going to take energy. It takes energy and thought. But now you're going to be combining your thought here from your pineal gland or your inner wisdom, your divine seed to God by connecting it to your heart. Men come from their head, women come from their heart. In gaming, though, it's very masculine and it's very intellectual. So people get caught up here. Now we're going to teach you to come from here to here to here. And actually, Neville Goddard put it well. Create your reality here first, here second, and here third. And Neville Goddard taught people how to become millionaires. But he also said you can actually help yourself heal through this technique. And Neville Goddard lived and was well famous in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. By the time in the 80s when he died, he was teaching people. I was a chiropractor at the time, teaching people how to create something here. You want $1 million practice? We're going to create it here, here, and there. I
Wow.
wanted to be busy. I wanted
Because
to do all sorts of things.
I was going to ask about Neville Goddard and that whole manifestation because that's like a piece of it that you mentioned too. That's just a part. It seems like a core part of it, right? As far as the part of the thing.
Manifestation. It is a game in the piece of life. All
Yeah.
right, you have it. Neville Goddard teaches you manifestation in your gaming world, but he also teaches it in the physical world. And he made, I don't know, was it 1,000 millionaires that learned how
Wow.
to use, but he didn't take everybody on as a client. They had to have the right mindset. He said if you could keep your focus on something for more than 3 minutes, he would take you on as a client. If you couldn't keep the thought without getting things coming in the way for less than 3 minutes, you wouldn't work with him. You had to
Wow.
learn to focus your mind on one topic, one objective for more than 3 minutes. He told people how in 15 minutes to a half an hour you could manifest money, actually seeing it come here. And by the time the hour was done, you would get a phone call, and somebody out of the blue would give you $1 million for a project, for something. And
Yep.
he actually had stories of people who turned it around and used it for creating health, not just wealth. We are wealthy children of God because we have the wealthiest father and mother, the creator, whether you call it masculine or feminine, the same thing. Neville Goddard's work, it, it can be for health as well as wealth. What is the most important? Wealth is your health.
Mhm.
So if you don't have your health, all the money in the world's not going to buy it. And you can't buy it from God, the creator. So you're going to learn to manifest your reality. Does it take work and practice? Yeah, it sure does.
Right.
Probably the hardest thing I ever learned was manifestation of creating by pushing out negative energy from my body. And then I found out I could do it better for someone else than I could for myself. Much easier to see it around you, especially when I see stuff around your head and your body on your right shoulder. And it's easier for me to yank it out of there, get rid of it. So if you want to know more about that, that's in chapter 5, modules 4, 5, and 8. In my book, There Are No Lines in Heaven.
Four or
People
five.
go,
I'm gonna have to
do you
check
have a
that out.
website? Do you have a website that goes with it? Yes. Website by the same name. I teach
Awesome.
Einstein that technique about manifesting and creating through prayer. That happens every 2 weeks on a Sunday afternoon, right?
Very cool. So, and I would love to just dive more and more into this, but I guess to be respectful of time for this particular episode, we'll wind this one down. But wow, just so much to think about. Like it's just so cool.
If you
Like
look at life as the biggest game, then you'll know how to beat back the aliens who invade us. You'll be able to beat back the evil that attacks us, and you'll be able to manifest the health, wealth, and prosperity that you truly want. Take this game to the next level, and you really beat the competition. You're looking at it because I'm one of those teachers. And it's starting next year, I'll be teaching doctors and healing practitioners how to do the same thing for their clients. Make a new reality. Don't accept the ones that don't fit you. I'm Dr. Scott Robinson. My book is There Are No Lines in Heaven. My website, There Are No Lines in Heaven. My seminars, There Are No Lines in Heaven, for the Center for Spirituality and Healing, where you can create miraculous astonishments physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially, because this is the game of life and this is how you play it. And this is the best and biggest game when you realize the joy when you can help other people heal too. And I thank you, Daniel Baker, for the opportunity to bring the games of your reality into the games of my reality. And with it, we can create miraculous astonishments and bring heaven to earth, the fifth dimension.
yes, absolutely love. Thank you so much, Dr. Scott, for being here. Thank you for sharing that. This has been so much fun, so interesting. So guys, definitely check out. Yeah, there are no lines in heaven. Check out the book. Check out the website. Check out Dr. Scott, because this is just so cool, so interesting. So I'm just gonna love picking this part and going back and watching this episode again too, just to just make sure to grab all the nuggets, all the wisdom. It's just so cool. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.